all of the city employees that we trust and the consultants that we hire to make these decisions have said it's a good idea. And so I realize there are residents that are concerned, but like someone said up here, we have experts that review these things and have given us their expert opinion. So I guess if we truly want to postpone 2 weeks, I just don't know what new data or actionable data that we would have. But perhaps I'm wrong, and maybe some of the staff or consultants could answer that question for me.
Well, what I heard tonight was queuing lengths on Alpine. I mean, literally, we'll have a consultant, because traffic engineering is myself and a part-time employee, so we would have a consultant go sit out there and count cars. I mean, that's literally what they do. And just to see how far the backup goes, it may be somewhat skewed because there's a fairly sizable attendance here, and we may get some people parking or driving down. Not uncommon. We put counters out in certain areas, and people drive back and forth to try and drive counts up. So if it was just done arbitrarily at some time in the past, it might be a truer representation. Not saying that it's going to be, but take it with a grain of salt.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
I think another reason that might be useful to us is just to really have that baseline, because I think that there's enough differing of opinions that if we actually have that information done, and it's not, we're basing it off of residents or a report where there were some modifications made and that has not been updated in this report. I just think having that baseline, because we probably will have to deal with this issue going forward. So I personally would like to know kind of where we stand, what things that we can consider to address any issues that are going to happen going forward, and we're all kind of using the same information. I would rather be proactive about some of these things rather than reactive. I know we've been dealing with other issues with residential streets and cut-throughs, and that's been a big topic of conversation for the last few months. So I think in that vein, I would rather be more proactive, so we're addressing these issues. We know what potentially we're dealing with, even if it's skewed a little bit, and then we can go forward and have some solutions ready rather than just build it and deal with everything after the fact. And on top of it, deal with well, this wouldn't be happening, but for this is, this building is here now and this resident is, all of those different things. If we're all dealing with the same baseline of information, I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable moving forward on a new type of project that's going to bring, new issues to the city. So
and that's kind of why I came back up here, to try and gauge what it is that, if this were to happen, what you were looking for. Because I did hear from Councilman Henderson the traffic signals, and Slater the queuing, and some different things. And that's kind of what I'm trying to. When you have a consultant that costs money to get things done, so you don't want to give them a broad scope. Say, go out and do a traffic study of Big Beaver from Crooks to I-75 or something like that. I want you to count cars on Alpine, something simple like that. Or if there is additional information that you desire to make your decision, that's something we can look at as well.
I wonder if that particular stretch of road, if you could give us an indication of the level of traffic accidents or tickets that take place already in that area. That might be helpful to us as well.
And we can pull the volumes. When we do studies, just the residential streets, we'll pull crash histories for 3 years or 5 years. We'll record volumes. So those are things that the crash history is pretty easy to get. Volumes, we can pull most of that from the signals through the county. So I mean, those are pretty easy things to get. We start to Councilman Henderson's question about signal network timing and interaction. That's where we start getting quite a bit more complex.
Thank you again. Okay, so we'll vote on the postponement. A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner.
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes. Motion passes. We'll postpone the issue for 2 weeks until we have a chance to get a traffic study. Thank you so much for your patience. We'll now proceed to public comments for agenda items only. At this point, I'd like to again address the recent changes made to the rules of procedure. We have agreed to break up the public comments into two sections. At this time, there will be public comments on agenda items, postponed items, regular business items, consent agenda items, memorandum, and future council agenda items as well. This would also be the time to discuss items under reports if you had any issues with the reports. Then after the above-mentioned business items are handled by council, there will be another public comment section for items not on the agenda. For each of these times, you can speak up to 3 minutes. And as a reminder, I'd like to restate that the audience should be aware that all comments are to be directed to the council rather than to the city administration or back to the audience. And there's a timer on the city council table in front of the mayor's chair that turns yellow when there's 1 minute of speaker time remaining and turns red when the speaker's time is up. In order to make the meeting more orderly and out of respect, please do not clap during the meeting. And please do not use expletives or make derogatory or disparaging comments about any one person or group. If you do so, there may be immediate consequences, including having the microphone turned off, being asked to leave the meeting, and/or the deletion of speaker comments for any rebroadcast of the meeting. Speakers should also be careful to avoid saying anything that would subject them to civil liability, such as slander or defamation. Please avoid these consequences and voluntarily assist us in maintaining the decorum befitting this great city. There's only one gentleman who has signed up. It's Mr. Savage, and I wonder, is this on an agenda item or? Okay. And which agenda item is that?
Good evening, Mayor. And
Good evening.
I had it noted here. It's the regarding the appointment. It's I4, the city manager, regarding that resolution. I should look for it, can't find it. Okay. However, I was a little surprised because when I came tonight, I was expecting to see something else on the agenda, because in the paper here it says distracted driver issue will return to city council's agenda, and that took me by complete surprise because I've attended all the meetings, and I didn't see where that was going to come back up onto the agenda. But apart from that, unless something happened regarding that I was not aware of. Anyhow, you will be voting tonight to approve Mr. Krishnak as the city manager. And I was here for the candidates' presentations, and I think you certainly made the right choice. I was very impressed with the presentation that he made. And I would also like to commend Mr. Culpepper for stepping in to fill a very difficult position. I had other stuff written down, but I'm going to be very brief. What impressed me with this whole thing was the fact that council made a unanimous decision in 7 minutes. And that gives me hope that Mr. Krishnak can continue to bring this council together, because this was a first. Because most of the time that this council has been here for the last 10 months, I didn't think this would ever happen, but it did, and I hope it's a good omen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. Next on the agenda is City Council, City Administration response and reply to public comments. I wonder if at this point Council would like to take a short break. Seems like we can just move forward then. So we'll return to the response and reply to public comments. Are there any council members that would like to speak at this time? Councilman Henderson?
Maybe just to address Mr. Savage's question about the distracted driving ordinance, that is, I believe we're going to have a study session at our next meeting.
Okay.
Just to clear that up.
Did you hear that, Mr. Savage? We'll have a study session at the next meeting for the distracted driving ordinance. It is in a study session on the next agenda, yeah. Any other comments? There are no postponed items, so we'll move to regular business. There are no mayoral or city council board and committee appointments, but there are 5 mayoral nominations to the Downtown Development Authority. I would like to postpone those decisions until I've had an opportunity to review my choices. There are also city council nominations. Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolved that Troy City Council hereby forwards the following nominated persons to serve on the boards and committees as indicated to the next regular City Council meeting for action. Animal Control Appeal Board. There are 2 positions. I'm nominating Al Petrulis for a term expiring September 30th, 2015. I'm also nominating Gretchen Waters for a term expiring September 30th, 2015. On the Parks and Recreation Board, I would be nominating Rusty Kaltsunas for a term expiring September 30th, 2015, and Lori Huber for a term expiring September 30th, 2015.
I have a second.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis, seconded by Councilman Slater. Discussion? A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes?
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Motion passes. There are no requests for closed sessions, so we'll move into the agenda items. I-04 is the city manager contract. Who would like to move the resolution forward?
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis.
Resolved that the attached employment agreement between the City of Troy and Brian M. Kishnick is hereby approved, and the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute the document on behalf of the city. A copy of the employment agreement will be attached to the minutes of this meeting. Be it further resolved that the official start date for Brian M. Kishnick is set for November 19th, 2012 at 8 a.m., and that in the interim, Michael W. Culpepper is designated as acting city manager. Be it further resolved that in recognition of Michael W. Culpepper's continued service as acting city manager, he shall be compensated $1,000 and shall be provided with 10 vacation days.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis, seconded by Councilman Slater. Discussion? A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes?
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Motion passes. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Culpepper, and congratulations to Mr. Kishnick. I've got to take that R out of there. That concludes our regular business. We'll move to consent agenda items. Are there any items that need to be removed for discussion? Could someone move the resolution forward?
Mayor.
Councilman Slater?
Resolved that the Troy City Council hereby approves all items on the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Slater, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis. Discussion? A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes?
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Motion passes. Under memorandums or future council agenda items, there's an announcement of a public hearing scheduled for September 24th, 2012 for a tax abatement for alternate automotive technologies for their move to 1225 East Maple. Next on the agenda is public comments for items not on the agenda. No one has signed up, so we'll move then to, pardon me? I don't see his name on the...
You need to scroll down on that portion.
Mr. Peters? Please. This doesn't, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Evening, Council, Mayor.
Good evening.
First of all, on the city manager business, I was kind of wondering if, I'm not saying we're putting in another white male just for the, keep the old boy network going, but in my opinion, if he's the best person, fine. But it would be, ideally, I would like to see maybe an Asian female or an Indian national female or male representative of our community. But if the male is elected, if he is put in, then it would be my hope that there would be some representative of our community other than a white male, maybe to be their assistant. So subsequently, we could become more of a diverse city representative in the government. Okay. A little bit about that project there. You know, they got this excrement from ducks or geese or something like that, and no one ever seems to bring that up. And I don't know why that is, but, you know, I would hope that maybe the governments, not only the city, the state, etc., would do some, you know, take a study on maybe how we could deal with that. I don't know if there is an answer, but sometimes I get kind of tired of riding over that stuff, and I don't think it's really particularly healthy either, to be honest about it. Also, on the this business here, also, would you say at first about impediment of speech, and you talk about ethnic, I think, people themselves. Now, my interpretation of the First Amendment is this, is that people have a right to say whatever they want for their own opinion. If it's my opinion to say something, that doesn't mean I'm an expert. If I want to call him a bum, that's just my opinion. But it doesn't mean that I believe that he's a bum, but I'm just saying that. Now, when you say something like you called people the Q word as a mayor, as a representative, that's a little bit different than what the average person comes up here and says something. You see, I believe in the First Amendment, and I believe people, you know, I don't believe in censorship. You know, like, I mean, I understand defamation of character and things like that. But as an average person who comes up here and just to speak his mind, he comes up here, he's riled up, he's mad or something like that. You know, if Councilman Slater does something that makes, you know, that he goofs, then he deserves to get his you-know-what ringed, you know. But if I falsely slander him in the public to the extent that, you know, let's say I'm an auto mechanic and I'm a professional and I'm saying that he's a lousy driver and he couldn't drive his way out of and then he's actually a good driver, then I could understand that. So this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're putting a muzzle, and also I believe that you're putting the...
Sorry, that concludes the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, that concludes the public comments, council comments. Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
I have two announcements. They are both related to the Rotary Club of Troy. I just wanted to let everyone in the community know that there are two events coming up that they are excited to let everyone know about. One would be an event that will be celebrating Patriot Week, and it will be honoring our veterans, so it's timely. Lieutenant Colonel Gary Smith of the 2017 Mobility Operations Squadron will share his experiences as a flight navigator during the Gulf Wars. This is going to take place at the Bank of America building, which is at 2600 West Big Beaver, on Wednesday, September 12th, so that's coming up this week. The time is going to be from 12 to 1:30. The cost is $13, and it will include lunch and the program. Everyone is welcome. The other event is coming up on September 21st, also for the Troy Rotary Club. It is a fundraiser, the Viva La Vino fundraiser. It's a wine tasting event that will be at the San Marino Club, which is Big Beaver Road right here in Troy. You can purchase tickets at www.showclix.com/event/Viva La Vino. And there's going to be a silent auction. All of the proceeds will go to other charity-related activities here in the city. So we're hoping that there will be a great turnout.
Thank you. Councilman Teets?
Yes, also this week on Livernois, Troy Family Days is going on, and it starts Friday, or am I wrong? There's a Thursday. Yes, thank you, Thursday through Sunday. The website to learn all sorts of information is troyfamilydays, DAZE.org. So Troy Family Days, but days spelled DAZE.org.
Okay. Councilman Slater?
I wonder if I could speak to Mr. Culpepper regarding the email from the gentleman that lives on Livernois, the issue with the staging area on Livernois for the construction on Livernois between Big Beaver and Waddles. I I went by there today, and I've gone by there a couple of times, and I think if I lived where he lived, I'd be rather upset too. And I'm wondering if there's a way that we can move that staging area to another part that's not so intrusive on somebody that would live in a neighborhood. I can think of a couple of spots. One is the parking lot just outside of City Hall here that's adjacent to the Parks and Rec building. I know we own the lot across the street on Livernois, and it just seems to me if it doesn't cause too much of an issue, or if we can start using another area as opposed to this area, I think it's something we should look at if I could get some support by other members on council. But I've been by there. I drove down Livernois at 7 o'clock coming here, and I drove through a cloud of dust that was just hovering over this gentleman's house. So I don't know if that's possible or if something that staff could look into. I would appreciate it.
Madam Mayor, as you know that we've been working with the homeowner there for a short while. I also mentioned in a memorandum back to, I believe, the mayor earlier today that we were going to be continuing dialogue with the gentleman. I don't need a nod from the council for this. I'm looking for a solution myself. I think we can reduce the impacts of what we're doing there. It may cost us a few dollars, but if I have some empathy for the gentleman who lives there, I think we need to look at some alternatives. Perhaps maybe not moving everything from that site, but maybe some of the activities that can cause the most distress. And there are some other sites that we do own within 3/4 of a mile. But once again, there, I think, will be a little bit of a cost to it, but perhaps for the amount of aggravation the gentleman has lived with, this may be worth it.
Thank you. Thank you. We were also advised by the Oakland County Homeland Security Division that beginning today, September 10th, 2012, through the end of September, maintenance work will be performed on some of Oakland County's outdoor warning sirens. Once the work is completed at each siren, it will be tested for approximately 30 seconds. So we might hear the normal siren sound, but it'll just be a short burst. Please remember, if you do hear a siren for the full 3 minutes, we should all immediately seek shelter and listen to a radio or television for more information. Please call 248-858-1593 if you require more detail on this important issue. We also received 2 very complimentary letters from the Honorable Mayor Brian Barnett from Rochester Hills and the Honorable Mayor James McDonald from Auburn Hills for our recognition as the 26th best place to live in the United States of America and #1 best place to live in Michigan. So I wanted to reach out and offer my thanks sincerely to these mayors. We'll have these 2 letters in the next meeting agenda. We'll move to reports. Mr. Manager Culpepper, did you want to bring forth a request to City Council regarding the placement of rocks in residential right-of-ways?
I have instructed the staff to prepare a report concerning boulders and fairly large rocks, landscape rocks, placed in the right-of-way. My report, I believe, is fairly extensive, and I'm really bringing this to the attention of the council at this time. To look this over so that we may bring it before the council later on with the perhaps intention of altering the city ordinance in favor of allowing these in certain conditions. So I hope that you would read the report diligently, and perhaps we can have an open discussion at the next council meeting. Also, Madam Mayor, I would like to announce to the public that on coming up very soon, on the 20th of September, the mayor will be making a State of the City address. That will be at 7 p.m., once again on the 20th, and that will be held in the city's community center.
Thank you. There was also a hearing that took place earlier today for the Michigan Public Service Commission to hear Detroit Edison's proposed opt-out program for smart meter installation on residential properties. This was a pre-hearing conference to set future hearing dates and to decide other procedural matters. For more information on how to participate, in case you would like to do so, please contact the Commission at 517-241-6180. There is also a report on the recall process. Another one is for surveys taken for signage on Daly and Big Beaver and Hartford and Rochester, and another report on the recycling process of what's referred to as white goods, such as appliances, etc., that might be of interest to you if you want to look at the reports in the agenda packet. There are no study items, no closed sessions, so this concludes our regular meeting agenda. I'd like to thank each and every one of you in the audience and at home for your participation and interest in our legislative process. I hope you have a good evening. We hope to see you all again soon. This meeting is adjourned.